Okay, hey, welcome back. A fun question we had come in this week is this. How important is attraction in a marriage? In the Netflix original series Love is Blind, they blindly date without ever seeing the person with the intention of getting married. Must attraction be a part of a biblical marriage? Fun, a Netflix series. Don't believe everything you see on TV. Don't believe everything that our culture tells us right about love. A more accurate statement, instead of love is blind, I think would be love is a choice. Probably doesn't make for as good of television, but love is a choice would be more accurate as to, hey, what a biblical marriage is. And even as you might watch that show and break it down, in the end, you'll see it's a choice. It's two people coming together in a marriage saying, not that they can't love anybody else or they couldn't pursue anybody else, but they're making the choice to pursue each other in a covenant relationship before God in their marriage. And so love is a choice. As to it being blind. And so is love blind? So the people dating, they don't see anybody. What's happening there? So they're taking out the physical attraction element to it. Actually, you could get into some really long discussions about voice intonation and how voices have a strong ability to even communicate age as well as attractiveness and everything. There's some studies out there. If you want to reach out, I can send you some of that. So it's not fully blind because their voices are not being, it's not just like a monotone robot voice. Their voices, their personality is coming out in that. And so they make a really strong emotional connection. If you're just talking to somebody and you're interacting with them, if you're in a non-typical sort of experimental environment where you're just focused in on that person. And so there's still a lot that can be conveyed just by voice, just by interacting and talking to figure out compatibility. And so as we talk about different intimacies, the emotional or relational intimacy goes crazy deep, right? So if you're just talking and you're interacting with people on that level, you go to a crazy deep level on an emotional or relational level because you're sharing your deepest, darkest secrets with these people. You're opening up. You're spending just hours and hours of time, undistracted usually, in that sense. And so they're building that up. So anyways, I won't go too far into that, reading up on the show and looking at what they do and how they do that. There is an element to that where they get to know a person and what they value and what they're like, and even voice communicates a lot of stuff. I'll say this. So is there a verse in the Bible that says, hey, attraction needs to be a part of a biblical marriage? No, there's not. And there's not a huge leg to stand on in mandating that, of saying you have to be attracted to this person if you're going to get married. I'll say this, if you read through Song of Solomon, if you look at like stories like Isaac and Rebekah, beauty and physical attraction certainly does take place. If you look at Jacob and Rachel even, there's a huge physical attraction there. And so as we look at that, yeah, it's definitely a part of it. It's not the main part. I'll go back to what I preached on this last week. Go to Proverbs 31:30. It says this: charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. In the midst of that, physical attraction isn't everything, and I hopefully you grasp that. Physical attraction is a component to a relationship. I think if you're dating somebody or you're considering pursuing somebody and you're just like, man, I'm repulsed by them, it's probably going to be a huge challenge. At the same time, I think, man, a woman of godly character, that goes way higher than physical attraction even. And so you can be physically attracted to somebody and you can be really attracted to their godly character. And so I'd say godly character goes before beauty. Beauty is fleeting. It will change. Over the years, you'll get fatter, you won't look as good, you'll get wrinkles. And the reality is, man, your physical beauty will fade. Your physical handsomeness, guys, will fade. You won't be necessarily the stud that you were in your 20s when you're working out like 3 hours a day, every day, because you have the time to do it. And so don't go after physical beauty. I think just wisdom-wise, there should be some physical attraction there. That's not a mandate from the Bible. I think that's a good thing to have as a part of that. We see elements of that throughout Scripture. So again, it's not biblically mandated, it's not stated, but the emphasis, I think even in young relationships, is really high on physical attraction, like it's way up here. And shows like Love is Blind, they try to communicate, well, no, actually it's at a relational level, it's here. That's worldly wisdom, and there's a lot of godlessness that is incorporated into that as well, that I wouldn't ascribe to or condone. But definitely, hey, a spiritual connection, an emotional connection, sort of agreeing on the same values and areas of faith to pursue. Those are going to be, and even talking about that partnership and that friendship from this last week are going to be way more important than physical attraction, because physical attraction will fade. And if your relationship is based on that, man, it's going to fade too. So hopefully that answers your question. Feel free to throw out a follow-up. Love doing this. Love these questions coming in.